still kind of crazy how small your diplomas are. Most diplomas I've ever seen are the size of that CFA.
Yeah, well, maybe you're right. Maybe that's what it is because like the CFA is a U.S. institution, so maybe it's just like the U.S. colleges
Yeah,
do huge designations, so they're just like we're just keeping up.
those diplomas, that's just like a 8.5 by 11.
You're right. It is. Actually, as I think about it, maybe you're right. Maybe that those are just small.
Well, I think, Canadian institutions, so it's probably relative
Yeah.
with the exchange rate.
Yeah. Or we're just more meek.
Yeah.
Or understated, if I want to put a positive spin
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah, you don't need to show off.
Right. Yeah. How you been, man?
Oh, pretty good.
I love the business card.
Dude, ain't it great?
There it is. It's all printed and everything.
Yeah.
I love it. That's awesome.
I even painted the back.
Oh, that's amazing, man. Oh, I love it. You did a great job.
I'm really happy with it. I really am.
It did turn out real good.
I think it captures like the essence of like my art and like the spirit and the personality of it pretty well.
Your business card does exactly what a business card should do. Like they immediately know what you do, and they immediately know what type of paintings you do.
Yeah,
like what your jam is. Like it's awesome.
Yeah, because I've been aware I need a business card for the last like month, and have been, always in my head thinking about it and like going online and looking at stuff and like, just trying to get stuff I'd already painted and like just crop it and put it on a business card, right? And like have a message. But it was just like, well, this will do, I guess. It's coming up to it. And then finally I was like, fuck this. I should just like paint something specific for the business card. And so like I took a Sunday and I just painted it. And really I'm very happy. Like I was like giddy, like waiting for them to be delivered today because I'm very
happy.
I
bet, man. I bet. So, are you happy with them? They printed them well?
Yeah, definitely.
It looked good. I can't see feel it.
Yeah, I got like there's like 4 thicknesses and this is like the 3rd thickest, and like I can't buy 200 of these. So I got 50 of these. This was like 50 for like $25, but like I don't know, it's like 50 cents a card. It's like every time you give your card out, you're giving someone 50 cents.
Yeah, I know you're giving away 50 cents. I know.
But so I got those 50 because I was like, I want to try out like, all right, well, what's something that I know will be like a good quality? So like, I know if I don't like it, it's not because of like the quality of the card. And then
right
now I just ordered more at like a lower stock, like 200, I think, at like a shittier level. That's more like 30 cents a card, which is still a little high.
But it's also like but yeah, right. That's not cheap, but like the idea of having like an expensive version and a cheaper one is good because like you're going to be at places where you want to just like hand it out like candy, but you won't do that if they're 50 cents a pop. Whereas if you get even like, and so it doesn't matter if like every single time you hand your card, it's the most. That was the mistake we made with Eden Valley Partners. Like we just spent too much on the business cards the first time around, and we got like a lot, and they're also like, it's like not, it's got an untraditional shape to it, and so like between it's also embossed. Like you start to, when you get into like the details of like printing cards, all the features that make the cost go up. And so it's like that American Psycho.
Yeah.
Same with the cards. Yeah. Like, I mean, so we went all out and pimped out the cards, but they were probably like $1 a card or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
I can't even remember, but it was like, well, it was a lot. Like we spent like, I think each of us but we got like, I don't know, 2,000 cards or something like that. But I think we spent like $1,500 or something like that.
Well, yeah.
Which is just wait.
Yeah. If you think about it as like, that's kind of like, I was just, as I was ordering more, it's like, well, okay, well, shit. Like this is basically like my marketing budget. Like if I'm going to spend $100 on business cards, like what could I spend that $100 on marketing wise instead? Like my next 20 posts, I could like pay $5 to have them reach 1,000 people. Which at the moment, like I don't have like an agenda right now, so I'm not like really buying ads on Facebook and stuff because like what am I really advertising at the moment? But
Mm-hmm.
at some point I will want to do that. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to just like set up your funnel, right? Which is like, okay, what do I want them to do first, and then what am I leading them to buy?
Yeah.
But you're not that far off though, man, because like you've got stuff for sale.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm still trying to get just like definitely I'm still at the stage of just getting attention, I think, right now.
Yeah.
But
like, you know what, a really good, like, you should put some thought into at some point, doesn't have to be right now, but like as part of thinking about your funnel is like, it happens on Instagram a lot. You see it as like, for to describe different ways, but like one people describe it as like, what's the champagne? What's the like sort of thing that makes people want to click in the first place? So maybe it's giving a free, like some people give free ebooks or a free this, or you get a free, like whatever it is that you can give that gets people to click on that, a discount code or whatever, something fun and interesting that makes them click in the first place to get them to actually go to your site. And then sort of bring them along for the ride. So there's a girl on I watched. She's on Instagram. I don't know if you've got your phone with you. I'm gonna find her because like it's worth actually just looking her up right now.
Yeah. Oh shit.
What's wrong?
Well, that whole time that we've been talking, I've had it just on you, so the video is just you that whole time.
It's fine. I think everyone will prefer that. Somewhere here. Okay, so Hillary Rushford.
Hillary
with one L.
Dean Street Society.
Yeah.
She
so like she's got 100,000 followers, right? Like. It's not nothing. So what she does is like half her stuff is just like style and like pretty things, and then but she does like basically like social media training, and so in specific Instagram is what she focuses on. So she has this like, I saw this post come up, I didn't even follow her, and it was like, you can just sign up for my free like social media course. And so I was like, always skeptical of these types of things anyway. But I clicked on it, I joined. It was like happening like an hour after like I had signed up. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to be around in the next hour. I'm going to like log in and see what she does. And so she goes through this, like, it's really, really well done. But she gives you like some information, you know, like actually gives you some meat. But then everything's about, oh, but I can't get into everything here, and it's not enough time to go through all these details, which is true. Like, you know, what she's trying to deliver, she can't do in just 1 hour. But like the sell originally is like, oh, you'll be, you know, after the 1 hour be like signing, you know, be increasing your followers by the tactics, you know, you can employ after the 1 hour. But then as you go through the 1 hour, should more like, well, you know, I can't teach everything here, and this stuff, you know, you can use right away, but like there's more to tell you and explain. And so if you just sign up for this course and that course, and there's different prices and all that. But like the stuff she gives us, it is actually like she's methodical about the whole funnel.
And
so like I think there actually is substance there. If you do buy the courses, I didn't because I don't even have the time for it anyway. But she's done a masterful job of getting you to click in the first place, and then getting you to go along down the funnel. And she uses things like, you know, okay, if you buy in the next, like right after this podcast, in the next hour, after this lesson that I've just done with you, you know, then I'll throw this and this in for free, because she's trying to capture that impulse buy. And like, yeah, it's remarkably well orchestrated. I almost like, I don't like it because it's too much this, okay, now buy, or you're going to miss it. This big deal. Like stuff's a little predatory. But it's, boy, she's got the science, like the science down.
Well, here's yeah, I'm looking through her Instagram. I just clicked on her website link in her Instagram, and it directed me to a page not found. So she might not be perfect, if that makes you feel any better.
Yeah, wow, that was surprising. What did you click on? The Dean Street? Just the link.
DeanStreet.co. IG Encore. Even deanstreet.code isn't working.
Wow. Oh, she must have she probably changed the back and forth and probably made a mistake in the link when she changed it again. Because like that did have a link to her her sign up for her course.
It looks like her website's just down.
Oh, maybe that's what's happened. Anyway. So yeah.
Cool, dude. Well, we've been recording this whole time, but maybe we
I mean, I think we're right into the podcast. What we should do is at the end just record the opening.
Yeah. All right. That sounds good. Let me know when you want me to do the theme song.
Anytime you want. I mean, whatever is easiest for you.
So, we didn't chat a lot this week, and then I started thinking, like, you know what? Like, he might be in the hospital right now giving birth.
Like I did. I gave birth to a baby myself. No baby yet. Right. Mel,
like
today's
any day, any moment. You might like get up
phone
right now.
Is always with. Well, it's always with me anyway. But yeah, I'll in the middle of meetings just pick up my phone and be checking it.
Yeah,
making sure.
That's it's exciting, man. It's really exciting.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I think I've maybe said this the last time, but like, baby daughter is like just inside, like it's just on the other side of Mel's belly. I'm just waiting to meet her now.
Yeah, it's here. You have a baby daughter. It's just like trapped.
Yeah, like she's full, like she's as big as she will be when she comes out. Like she's like, that's it. It's here. Just she's not coming out. I want to meet her.
That's funny. We just haven't unwrapped her yet. It's like,
yeah, right, exactly.
Present under the Christmas tree.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah.
The problem is that present, it's like it's packed with this weird shipping material. It's like all nasty and gooey.
Oh yeah, and it's a bitch to open. But yeah, no, it's I'm very excited.
So tell me, did you start work?
Yeah, this week, Tuesday was my first day. I went in basically like all day Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
You went into an office.
Yeah, that was it's an interesting experience. I have a lot of leeway and flexibility though, so it doesn't. I was very worried about like feeling like I don't deal with authority very well at all to begin with, and then like after being doing your own thing for 2 years and not answering to anybody, you definitely don't feel like answering to anybody.
So just quickly recap, what's your new job and what's the deal?
I am director of new value for World Vision Canada. And so they are, I'll try to do this really succinctly. They're trying to look at ways to raise money that are typically like ways that you raise money in the for-profit space, trying to take those methods and apply it in the charitable space. So think about like companies raise money by issuing bonds or issuing equity, and investors buy that equity or those bonds, and the company then uses that money to fund projects and operations or whatever they want. And so the charitable space is saying, well, what if we issue equity in a project or bonds in a project that could potentially pay a return to investors? And so instead of donating money to affect positive change, you can invest money that actually pays you a rate of return. And so so I'm helping explore those models and figure out, like, this is a really like a whole sector and industry that's in its infancy, and there's a relatively small number of companies and people globally who are doing this type of work. And so I'm working with World Vision to kind of lead the charge for them. They have a couple people, like really talented, like smart people already doing this work, but it just hasn't been a coordinated effort on their part. So I'm helping to sort of coordinate it and push it forward.
Yeah, it sounds like you're being a little modest here. You're saying they are trying to do this and they are trying to do that, but they've hired you to lead this group. You are doing it. You're leading this group.
Yeah. So I think what I bring to the table is a finance background. I mean, I pointed to the degree early on the wall, the CFA, and that is like in the investment industry is the global standard. It's a US based organization, but it's globally recognized, and it's kind of the standard. And so I come in with a finance background, and that's what they liked, and that's what they needed, because the professionals they have are development specialists and know their stuff like really cold. They're really impressive guys, but they don't have the finance background. And so yeah, I've got experience managing people, and I've got a lot of thoughts on how this might all play out. That said, what I don't have is the subject matter expertise that they have, and so I'm going to learn a lot from them, I think, and hopefully, yeah, grow this out. But I've been feeling a little bit like there's a guy named Carl Richards. He's a financial advisor, but he's extended beyond that. He writes a regular column for the New York Times, and he's done a lot of sort of like just pioneering work on the like psychology of investing. Not like he's a psychologist, but he's very good at sort of understanding investor emotions and how that plays into their decisions, and helping advisors like navigate that and manage that with their clients. And so one of the things he's talking about recently, which isn't necessarily just applicable to financial advisors, it's broader, is like what he calls the imposter syndrome. And so like in the one example for financial advisors, it doesn't have to just be in this context, but in that context is like, as you get, like, when you get big enough and you've got large enough clients and you're making enough money, like it eventually you kind of get to the point where you're like really, like you're gonna, like, I'm making this much money doing this. Like you feel a little bit like, oh boy, like you have a hard time. Or even if you're just starting out, like feeling a little bit like, I don't have my own finances perfectly like in order. And I'm helping others, and because you know what to do, then you're an emotional human being yourself, and you don't always do what you're supposed to do. It'd be like the personal trainer who's like not ripped, like they know what you should do, but like it's a lot of work to do it yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm feeling a little bit like the imposter syndrome here, because like I'm stepping into this place with like 500 amazingly like really impressive people who are super passionate and like know way more than me about their field. And I'm stepping in from the outside with like just looking at everybody like doing amazing stuff, going, well, like, really, I'm leading this.
That's cool, man. That's an exciting place to be in, though. Like, I think specifically, I'm getting feedback. I don't know.
From me?
I hear my voice echoing.
I don't hear it echoing.
It's probably a problem if I hear it, because okay. I don't hear it now, but probably I got a little more echoey because I moved. Did my audio quality go down?
No, you just sound closer, which you're
okay. Okay, still sounds okay.
Yep.
Okay. But yeah, like it's a fun position to be in, because like you do have that imposter syndrome for sure. But I found like I've been in that position before, like kind of doing consulting. You're always walking into a new situation in some regard. And even though you've been specifically hired to walk in there, you're just like, well, okay, well, I don't know actually any of the stuff that they're talking about. And like, I've had 2 different jobs, and each time I walked in, and I kind of started realizing early on, like, those people do know but like they really do know a lot of stuff. But when you have an idea that you're just sitting there and you're thinking like, okay, well, this seems really basic or obvious. Like, I probably shouldn't say that, because obviously they've like already worked this out, and there's good reason why, this thing isn't happening. A lot of times if you just ask that question, like, it's surprising, because you're just coming in with this other perspective that like really there is no good reason why this thing, that because you're looking at it from another perspective, is there. And like, I think people hold back a lot when they're in a new scenario because of that imposter syndrome. And I've like kind of consciously over time realized, confident in myself, I'll ask a stupid question, and even if it is a stupid question, like, I'm confident that I'm still gonna like bring value anyway, and people aren't gonna think I'm stupid. And a lot of times the stupid question is actually like considered a very good question, or like profound, or like another perspective that people hadn't thought of before.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I mean, I've already started to get a little sense of that just in the first few days. Just even just like, okay, I can see where their limits are of their understanding of like the financial side, and that might be holding them back from certain things. They might be taking sort of like not realizing certain opportunities exist, or not realizing that they don't exist, or So I am getting that hint of like, yeah, I think I can add some value. The other thing is in this that Carl Richards talks about, like the imposter syndrome is usually a good thing. It's usually when you're like on the like it usually coincides. His argument is it usually coincides when you are pushing yourself and you're taking a leap, or you're doing something that is sort of challenging and meaningful, and that's not always guarantees you're going to be successful, but it always accompanies something that could really grow you, help you grow and do something special. So anyway,
point,
so
right?
I'm excited. I think everyone's super nice there. A lot more than traditional like profit for like, and then the financial services area. Like the asshole factor in the financial services arena is very high on average, right?
I mean, you're going from like private financial companies to
Right.
the Canadian religious, like
Right, Canadian Christian charity. Yeah, right. It doesn't get more the dichotomy.
Those are nice. Do you think so, Dave?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. But yeah, no, it's been fun. It's been fun. And the guy that like I basically reported to is super cool. He's like I think he's like originally from somewhere in Texas and got a great accent and super we're on the same wavelength.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you're getting a little choppy. I don't know if it's my connection or yours. I'm gonna put my phone on. I'm putting my phone on airplane mode.
Let me. It's possible.
Sometimes my Wi-Fi gets bogged down if my devices are backing up and stuff, but I don't know.
See here.
I guess we'll just deal with it. So that's cool. So, how are you balancing that then with you've also just launched a new company that you're the sole proprietor of and are trying to get off the ground at the same time as you're starting a new job, which is not like just going and being an employee. You're like going and doing real, strategic, like you're building something there. You're not just punching the clock.
Right. Yeah.
So how are you juggling those things?
We're about to have a baby. So, yeah. It's nuts. And I've got to write an exam for like a course like that I need to do. It's a financial planning course that I don't need to, but like I should. It's like it's an accreditation that's worthwhile, and it's probably like it's a 6-hour exam. So it's in June. So I've got a lot of work. I got to study for that as well.
Boy.
Yeah. So I got my hands full, but yeah. So I just like throwing myself into the deep end. And I'm just trying to keep my head above water. Right now I don't have a system for it. I'm just trying to figure that all out and sort of see what the new normal is. But yeah, I'll get there. I'm gonna like sink or swim, and I'll do enough like that I don't drown. We'll just see how successful it is. I think what'll happen is kind wealth is like gonna just grow a lot more slowly in the early going as I sort of just get my head around everything and get into a new routine and manage my time. Try to learn how to manage my time effectively, and not let World Vision take over 100% of my time. Yeah. And that'll be a challenge.
So, yeah, I think that makes sense. Like you're kind of right now, you're just like in the pool and you're like, okay, hold on. Let me just figure out what's going on. Yeah. But so do you picture like in the steady state that it's going to be like, you're really just like, okay, these 3 days I'm doing this and these 3 days I'm doing that? Or are you thinking you'll be like kind of task switching a lot and stuff? Or what do you, I'm curious what your thoughts are on that, because I'll also be curious to check back in, in a few months and see what happens. So I think it's cool to see like what are your expectations right now?
Yeah, that's right. That's a good question. So it will be interesting to see how this plays out later and how it changes. So my expectation is to sort of pick like one day a week that I'm definitely like all day at the World Vision office, and have the other days sort of float. And it may be like it'll be task switching. So from a logistical perspective, it definitely makes more sense. It's just a matter of whether that is feasible to just switch back and forth so easily. But like I can imagine a scenario where like I'm downtown having meetings for Kind Wealth with whoever it is, and then I could also just like head next door and have a really productive meeting for World Vision from my capacity as director. But like, what am I going to say? Oh no, today's not a World Vision day. I have to go home and then like come back downtown the next day. And like, why would you do that? You might as well just head into that meeting and task switch.
Yeah. That
and the thing is, they are fairly closely related in a lot of, anyway, like there are people that I could meet who would be beneficial in both my capacity as World Value and founder of Kind Wealth. So that'll be interesting. One thing I did do, I forgot to mention. So I just spoke with a bookkeeper today. I don't know what bookkeeper is. I didn't even like. I mean, I guess I knew, but like, it sounds like something from the '60s that doesn't exist anymore.
An accountant.
Yeah, but like they're not an accountant, but they just do. Yeah, they basically keep everything organized so that when you go to the accountant, all that stuff is clean and neat. So yeah, so that was that's one of the things I decided I'm going to do is just like have a bookkeeper do all the books for Kind Wealth, because it's an incorporated company and that's a very like different set of rules than just like, hey, I've got a side business and I'm just claiming this personal income and expensing stuff. Like it's from a tax perspective, it's just more onerous once it's incorporated. And I'm not good at like, I don't like that stuff. It's my last priority. And that's the thing that I'm just not going to do a good job of. And so then when I go to an accountant, I'm going to pay through the nose to have them organize it all and get it like, so I think it'll actually save me money to just have a bookkeeper do it.
Yeah, for sure, man. Especially like you don't have all this extra time to devote to it. You should.
One of the things I'm looking at is like a virtual assistant. Do you know anything about?
Yeah, John, our CEO, he has one. He's had it for a long time, so I'm pretty sure that he gets a lot of value out of it. Like I only see it from a point of view of like when he's like scheduling meetings, he basically just like copies that person in and just says like, find a time for me to meet with these 3 people. And then you just coordinate with her, which definitely just frees up, I'm sure. Like I would imagine like it frees up a half hour of his week just by not having to look at his calendar. Like,
right. That one function.
Yeah. And I know she's doing other stuff. And I think these personal assistants, they don't really care what you're asking him to do. It's more of like an hourly thing. And so I think he uses them even in his personal life to do a lot of stuff too, which just like, really frees up the time. So
I'm debating doing something like that too, because I'm in this point where like that my time is already like that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, also. I don't know how it works, but I'm pretty sure that space is mature enough now that you can just like buy a block of 20 hours and see how it goes and like not have much more commitment beyond that.
Yeah. Where do you find these people? Like through Upwork or things like that?
I don't know. I could ask John if you want. He had the same one for a long time, so I think he's
sure
with him.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, remind me, and I will.
Thank you, man.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going on with you?
Yeah, it'd be funny also if you were just like, if I don't know if I was talking with someone about this or what, but if you're just like, look, I don't care. I want 24-hour coverage. I like want them to be responsive 24 hours. And I understand that like that might be 3 people, but I only want to learn one name. I'm going to call them all Steve. And like, I don't want to.
You're all just Steve. Just deal with it.
Yeah.
One's a woman. Okay, you're Steve.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I would get a kick out of that.
So what's going on with you?
Oh man, I'm in the home stretch here. I've had actually a pretty busy week too, and a fun and exciting week. And I'm on a good little run here over the last couple of weeks. I'm feeling healthy, and I'm excited about this festival.
Can I
thing.
ask you one question?
Uh-huh.
Are you finding it what you're doing with your side hustle is distracting you from work yet? Or
No.
no, you're able to just like you're excited, you still enjoy what you're doing, and it's not like you're like, oh, I just want to get this done so I can like do this other stuff.
No, not really. I enjoy what I do.
Nice.
One thing it is doing, I think, is it is actually I think it's probably, if anything, making me like better at my job, because I am being more efficient and more directed and deliberate about what I'm doing, because I want to make sure I have this extra free time to go
Right.
like do this side hustle. And
Right.
like previously it was like, all right, well, whatever, I'll knock off at like 3 o'clock today because I got other stuff I want to do. And then I know at like 8 o'clock, all I'm going to be doing is just like watching TV. So
Right.
I'll just like work for another 2 hours this evening and it's no big deal.
Hmm.
But I'm
That's
more
cool.
disciplined, now. I'm like, no, like work for 2 more hours,
Right.
wake up, be efficient in the morning, like
Right.
wrap this shit up. And then so you can focus, like after 5 o'clock, I can focus on like this other thing without like leaving that
Right.
behind.
Distraction.
Yeah. So it's worked out pretty well. Like I'm definitely like thinking about it and stuff during the day. But so far it's been pretty good. It's been a positive, I think.
Are you like, is it just like cutting dramatically into like TV time and social time? Or you're still able to like balance stuff? Like you're not so like overwhelmed. You're able to take this at a pace that's not overwhelming.
Yeah, it's not cutting into TV time, because if I'm painting, I just like have stuff on anyway.
Yeah.
And so it's
Yeah.
like literally like it used to be I would spend 3 hours a night just watching Netflix and just sitting there. Now I'm spending 3 hours a night watching Netflix but also painting while I'm doing it.
So sorry for all the questions, but like I am genuinely curious. Like if you're
Uh-huh.
painting and watching Netflix, do you like, are there large periods of time where like you're engrossed in what you're doing and then you realize you haven't paid attention to what, or is it's like I don't paint at all. I genuinely don't know the answer to this. Like, or is it so like you can be perfectly paying attention to what you're doing and still painting? Like pay attention to what Netflix.
It depends. Like, so a lot of times what I'm doing when I'm painting is I'm just picking a series that I've already seen and I'm just throwing it on in the background. So right now I'm just binging all of Parks and Recreation.
Right. Yeah.
And so like I spent like all day Sunday painting that business card and just had Parks and Rec on the whole time in the background.
Awesome.
And so that requires like none of my attention. And I
do that too sometimes when I'm doing like mindless stuff on my computer, but I need to like, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then like when I'm painting, there's probably 25% of the time is like you're like plotting and thinking and strategizing, like what do I need to do? Okay, I need to paint this, and it's like real thought intensive and like analytical.
Mm-hmm.
You're like building, like making your designs basically. And then 75% is okay, now I'm just like putting the paint on the canvas, and that's a little more not mindless, but it's not concentration heavy as much. So yeah, it works all right. I don't watch like I started watching The Americans, which is great, but it's like this slow kind of like thriller thing, and you need to like be watching and seeing how people are looking at each other and stuff. And that I do that. I wait until I just like want to have an hour while I'm eating dinner or something, and I'll put that on them.
Yeah.
So it's working out. It's cutting into like my social life, I guess. It is a little like I'm saying no to more stuff. I'm just like, but it's also just like feels less attractive to me a lot of times. Like I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't need to like go to Saturday boozy brunch. It's like they were doing. I was like, I don't know. I could do that, but I'd rather spend that Saturday morning like being productive. And I know if I go to this boozy brunch, I'm also not going to productive Saturday afternoon either, and probably I'm not going to be productive on Sunday.
Right.
So like, yeah, it's good. It's providing like motivation of like, no, I need to be like, I need to be not in shape, but like
alert.
I don't know. Yeah, I need to be on my game because I need to like always be doing this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's actually like having good effects in my life for just like generally giving me good motivation to be healthier and like so that's what I was saying, like these last 2 weeks has been really great because I have been like eating better and sleeping better and boozing a whole ton less, like almost not at all. So it's been good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're telling me about your week?
Oh yeah, so I've got this Festival of the Arts, the North Park Festival of the Arts.
What day again?
It's Saturday the 20th, so it's 8 days away.
Nice.
And it's like a big festival. It's gonna be like 6 city blocks. They're gonna have 5 stages with music going on. It's this all-day event. You know, there's beer tents and like it's the neighborhood. It's a cool neighborhood, and so like everyone will be out there. I don't know how many people will attend. I would imagine it's gonna be in the tens of thousands of people going through there. Big event that our neighborhood does, and so I signed up for it. Like
if sorry, I keep interrupting, but like if I were A, not just about to have a baby, or B, just like lived in San Diego, I would like want to like just be your helper for the day and like hang out at the. I think that's like that. I'm excited for you. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, my friends are excited too. My girlfriend's gonna help all day. Her friend, who is like one of the people I painted her cat, she was like one of the early ones. She's like super excited to help out. She's like, just give me a t-shirt. So I'll probably enlist some other friends as well because it is actually an 11-hour thing,
right?
From like 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And it's just like I'm not going to be there that whole time. But yeah, there's been a lot of work. And the one thing, I think you said this before, it's funny, like, I think you said like people overestimate what they can do in a week and underestimate what they can do in a year or something like that.
Like it's Bill Gates said, and it's like they underestimate what they can do in a year. Sorry, overestimate what they can do in a year, but underestimate what they can do in 10 years. But I think it applies
on any time
term.
Yeah. So I divided by 10, but yeah. So like I've kind of, if you just say like, oh, I started in January 1st, more or less, like over the last 5 months, I've kind of in my head been like, you know, I'm trying things and I'm doing something, I'm painting, but like, I'm not like getting organized or anything. I'm just painting. And then like this last like 3 weeks since I signed up for the festival, it's like, okay, shit, I'm going to get business cards made and I'm going to go get this like merchandise printed and I'm going to like fix up my website to like make it look good. And I've like kind of gathered everything together and like organized everything. And like, now it's like, well, shit, you know, if you asked me 5 months, like kind of in my head, I was like, well, my goal would be after 4 months to, you know, be at a farmer's market. And like after 6 months to have like all this stuff, like I'm kind of on track now. That's awesome. I have to go plug my computer in. It might even die before I do. I have to run.
All right.
Talk. Monologue.
So, what can I say here? Oh, so I think, what was I going to say? I was actually just going to interrupt you, tell you something. And now I'm forgetting what it was, but it was about, oh, right. So one of the things I realized I'm bad at is, and I'm curious what you do. But like, I'm really bad at celebrating victories, like small victories. And even probably big ones. Like when I have successes, I just sort of like, oh, okay, good, I did that, and now like, what's the next one? I'm just like immediately on to the next one, and I don't like really know who was really good at the opposite, like of celebrating that stuff. Was Trip.
Yeah,
that's our buddy from South Africa, and he was like really good about like being intentional, but like, hey, like we had this like today was a good day, like we, you know, I did this, Jen had that, and like they would like celebrate, have a drink, whatever, you'd like talk about it and like be deliberate about like this is a celebration of that. And I always like thought that was really great because I don't think it's like, and it sounds like one of those like, oh, I work too hard and care too much, like trying to turn a weakness into a strength, like, oh, I'm just so focused that I don't stop to celebrate. But like I don't actually believe that's a good thing. Like it is good to stop and be like, oh, look what I accomplished. That's like really good. And I don't do that. I like, and I'm aware I don't do it, and I still don't do it. It's hard.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I knew you were going to say trip when you said that.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because like, in a way, it's annoying at first.
Right.
Like,
right. You'd be like, oh God, here he is. Like, look at me, everybody. Look what I did.
Yeah. Or it's just like, yeah, you know, settle down. All right. Yeah, we did that. But, but like, it is contagious and it is good and it is fun. It is like good to stop and be like, I did it.
Right. Right.
Like these business cards, I'm super proud of it. And like having one thing that is good that actually helps that is, and I think that's like a little bit why social media is so popular is like, now when I do something that I'm proud of, I'm like, hey, I did it. I have like this, I have a venue to display it and then like immediately receive, like positive reinforcement from everyone.
Right.
Like, oh, you did do it. And I love it.
Yeah. And it's motivating because you're like, oh, this is content.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so, but like, and I feel that way too. And it's gotten me close to celebrating stuff more than I do. And I've probably done more than I would otherwise, but still like, I still didn't post anything about like, oh, I got the articles of incorporation and like, I have the business account set up and got the visa. And like, I have actually like just banged out a lot of stuff pretty quickly with Kind Wealth. And like, oh, what I'm left with is like, I've been in this now getting close to 2 years. July will be 2 years since we came back from South Africa and started Eden Valley Partners. And what the feeling I'm left with is like, oh, because like Eden Valley Partners, I've removed myself from and starting all over with Kind Wealth. It's like, oh, I've done nothing in that 2 years. And that's not true. And I know that's not true, but that's the sort of feeling I'm left with. Like, I can't celebrate anything. I'm starting from scratch.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Definitely. Yeah, I think for me in just normal life, I'm not even sure, like, for the most part in my past, like, I've even been at the point where I'm even, like, recognizing that I have, like, done this accomplishment. Like, not even like, yeah, I've done this thing, but whatever, I'm moving on. Like, just not even registering, like, that was
right.
Cool.
Right. Yeah, I know. I agree. I did the same thing. Sometimes I don't even recognize it as an accomplishment. And like, like a friend might be like, oh, that was pretty cool, like amazing. You're like, yeah, you're right, actually.
Yeah. And that's I think, I don't know. I feel like that's the thing that I'm realizing more and more, like just even doing this painting thing, like, and moving back from Cape Town and, you know, kind of starting like, you know, being more introspective. Like, I do think like the most important thing is like just gaining more perspective on things. Like I was running today and I was thinking like, it's like, man, you know, I haven't been this like excited and just nervous about something in a very long time. Like probably since I went to Cape Town, was just like, okay, here I go. I'm like getting on this plane. Like, I hope
I now live in Africa.
Yeah, you know, I'm just like, here I am. Okay. I'm like, okay, I'm going to this Festival of the Arts and I'm like making a booth. I don't know how to make a booth. I just spent like a whole day at the printer, like talking to him, trying to decide like, what should I print? What should I put it on? How much should I spend? And like all these decisions. And like, so I have 21 tote bags and like some beer koozies and some aprons. And like, I was just like, there's a chance I'm going to sell exactly 0 of all of these things. There's a chance that this thing starts at 11, that at 2:00, I have no more inventory to sell at all. Like both of those things are 100% on the table.
Yeah.
But like but I was able, I think now I have like this perspective that I'm just like 3 years from now, however this goes, I'm going to look back on this 3 years from now, like wistfully,
Yeah.
and being like, that was so cool. I was like, I was so naive, or that was so much fun, or like, if I'm looking back on it, like there was that 8 months where I tried to be an artist and then just stopped. Like
Right.
I would still be looking back on this time like really fondly.
Yeah.
And it might be that in 3 years I'm looking back like, yeah, that was the start of like a really
Right.
successful thing. And that'll be cool because then I'll be looking back at that like, man, I was so naive then. And like there's just no, and like I have the perspective now of like, I'm living the fun part that I'm going to be looking back 4 years from now.
That just gave me chills. Really, that just gave me chills. That's so cool. That's just so cool. Yeah, that's what it's about, man. This is it. Like, that's the John Lennon quote. But like, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans, and this is it. Like having that perspective. Here, I'm living it.
Yeah.
You get so caught up in, I've just got to do this. I've just got to get to this point. And no, you're in it. You're in it.
Yeah.
This is it. It's so cool. Love it.
You're starting a company, you're starting a new job, and you're having a second baby all at the exact same time. Like,
yeah. And
I'm going to look back on when you're.
I do think about that a lot. Like, I think I can imagine Mel and I looking back, laughing about like how crazy it was, and like whatever happens, whether it's successful, unsuccessful. Oh yeah, remember that time that when we were having our second, like, and we're talking to our daughters about this when they're 17 and laughing about like. My parents tell a story about how my mom was pregnant with me and like doing her master's and like having to write a thesis, and like my dad, I don't know, like there was a lot going on in the family. I can't remember all the details, but they have this story that they tell about how crazy it was at this time. And that's why I think about like, that's going to be a fun story, and whatever happens. Yeah. I'm going to look back very, very fondly on all of this stuff. And I do that with my daughter a lot of stuff. I have to like stop because like, it's so exhausting raising a daughter, but it's like so amazing. And so you have to avoid that temptation to be like, oh, I just can't wait until, she goes to bed so I can like relax and like, you know what I mean? Because like you can wish away all your time. And so anyway, that's all really cliche, but it is awesome when you've sort of come to that, when you can stop in the moment and realize that you're having this amazing time.
Yeah, 100%. It's cool, man.
So what do you have? Do you have a lot left to do before the festival?
I had a late night last night. So last night I made a big push because it was like, if I'm going to get these things printed, I have to put the order in. And so I was up pretty late last night, like editing all these files and arranging them, and got them to the printer. That was like the big lift. Sunday I'm gonna like do a dry run setting up the booth just to see like what do I even need to do and what don't I have and what do I need. And then I'm gonna print a bunch of like greeting cards. I'm gonna just go to another printer and just like get a whole bunch of greeting cards made. So
excuse me.
So it's not I'm pretty sure I'm wildly underestimating how much I have left to do. But no, the big lift was just now getting that stuff printed.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited for you, man. I can't wait. You should like, are you going to be like, no, what you should do is if one of your friends is there, get them to like vlog the thing, like be the person responsible for recording a lot of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. Like, I'm going to definitely be posting a ton on social media and everything.
But like, you'll probably be so busy that you get distracted a lot. I mean, if you've got somebody there who could do that, I would highly recommend having somebody like just take ownership, and they don't have to record 24/7. Just be the person who's like, you're good. You're going to have this.
That's good advice. Yeah. I hadn't, like, I've intended to do it, but I think you're right. Just be like, listen, I need you to, without me asking, like, be recording this stuff. And like, I need you to push the issue. So they're thinking about that.
Because that's like, you'll have content for a long time that you can like repurpose, take slices, like in months from now, still be showing like certain slices if it happens to be I don't know, like a useful piece of content or a photo or whatever, like you see it all the time. Like you go through any social media account and they've got like, especially it happens with like fashion or like anything like food related. They took a whole bunch of photos. You see it, you can notice it when people are wearing a certain outfit. They took a whole bunch of photos in one photo shoot and they're posting it over a course of like 8 months. Just they're separating them all so that they're not all showing, so like, then you look back, nobody ever really goes more than a few swipes down somebody's Instagram profile, so you never really notice that. Yep. So you'll have a lot of content for a long time if you get somebody to really get a lot of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. That's funny. I have a funny anecdote that's non sequitur for the most part.
Right.
But you were saying people wearing the same shirt in the photos. I had to actually I had to retire like my favorite shirt. Like I never really used to post on Facebook very often, and so like the only times I would be posting on Facebook were like 100% correlated to like
when
nice
you wear
events.
your favorite shirt.
And so like it was just 100% correlated. If I was going somewhere that pictures were going to be posted on Facebook, that also meant that I was like consciously deciding to wear like my number one shirt. Yeah. So one day I went and I looked, I was just like, oh, let me click on all my Facebook photos. And like for like a year solid, the only shirt I was wearing in any Facebook photo was this fucking red and white striped shirt. And you could also see it was hilarious because it was like
getting more worn out.
It was shrinking. It was like turning into a belly shirt. Like it was literally like
I can't believe how nice this shirt was at one time.
Oh, unbelievable! It was. I swear to God, it was like above my belly, but like above my belt. In the last, like, Jesus, I need to stop wearing this shirt.
It's funny because Mel and I have family photos on the wall, and there's one from like when Capri was first born, and then one from when she was like kind of a year and a bit old, like a year apart. And I'm wearing my favorite shirt in both of them, and I didn't realize until the photos were on the wall. Anyway, so that's only like a more minor version, but yeah.
You just see Capri, every picture Capri's bigger, but like you're right. Just like
in that same shirt. Yeah, that's exactly right. So, well, I think I was going to say one other thing, but I can't remember. But it was along the lines of getting somebody to like vlog for you, take photos. I thought it was pretty good too. So that's what I'm trying to remember. I don't always come up with good ideas, but anyway,
yeah.
If I think of it, I'll tell you. But
yeah, you don't want to let any pitches go by. You're not
right. I can't afford it. I don't have enough good ideas to.
You're not a lot of strikes. You need to things going across the plate.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, well, that's good stuff, man. I'm excited for you, and I want to see it. I want to be able to like partake in it, like watch it. So vicariously. So do get some good video.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually. You probably were trying to remember to tell me to do the Snapchat filter.
Oh well, no, I wasn't. But you should. I'd experiment with it. It's worth it. Like it's highly visual. Like you can. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I got a
filter for that event.
I downloaded Snapchat 2 days ago, so that's as much as I know about.
Okay,
Snapchat.
There's a bit of a learning curve. The only downside is like. Time may be your only issue. Like if you're strapped for time, like it's going to take you some time to figure it. And I'm not an expert on it, so I can't. Like I've done marginally more research than you.
Yeah,
which is not right. So you may not have time to, but it just does seem like a ripe opportunity because it's event based. It has to be like leading up to some event, and it's location based, and it's highly visual, and you can put like you can basically create your own image. And so like you could have your business card as the image as a filter. And so like if you're going to this event, people.
All right. Maybe I'll take some time on Saturday and see what I can do.
You might be able to cobble it together fairly quickly. I don't know. I just haven't dug into it enough.
Yeah. I mean, if I Google create a Snapchat filter.
Oh yeah. You'll get very specific steps.
55,000 websites that have like step one.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Awesome, man.
Well, hey, it's been about an hour. Maybe we should wrap it up.
Yeah. I think probably.
Um,
We had a good talk. This is good.
I think so. So yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. And we'll check back in again next week.
Just before the big day. Well, we might not,
day.
depending on if I'm having a baby or not.
Yeah, it may just be me doing a solo show for the next month.
Yeah, well, a month is too long, but like I may miss a couple weeks once the baby comes. We'll see.
Hey man, you're gonna go onto the bench, and I'm gonna call in a backup, and if that guy performs well, you might not get your position.
I know. I might not get a call back. Hey, you know what we should do too, though, is start thinking about having a guest on.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I'm happy to just like, if you like, I mean, I can pick somebody or you can. I don't care, but like, let's just get somebody on that we're kind of close with. Yeah, that doesn't mind if it's not like the best podcast ever.
So if you know someone, tell them and I'm in.
I know a few people who are very interested, but I don't know them super well, and I would ideally like to wait till we had one or two under our belt. But it doesn't have to be the case. Like, do you know anybody that you're like close with that would do it?
That's what I'm struggling with also.
Okay.
I do know one guy, the guy actually that gave me my slogan. He might be interested in it.
You didn't make that up?
No,
it's okay.
It's good. Hey, when you see a good idea, you take it. But he wasn't like, oh, this should be your slogan. He was just like, I love your stuff. You know what I love about it? Like, it's not good art. And I was like, all right. And he's like, but it's great. I was like, oh, that's good. And then I was like, that's good. I was like, well, let's, and then we like kind of chat through, like, I was like, that could be my slogan. Like, how should we do it? Like, and if you're writing it, like, how do you convey that inflection in writing?
Right.
But yeah, no, I didn't steal it.
No. Hey, listen, I'll tell you. This is another thing I should have mentioned. I had a sit down with a friend of mine. I met at a fundraising thing about a year ago. And he's like the most interesting person in the world, maybe, or definitely the most interesting person I know, like by a wide margin. The guy has a lot of fascinating interests. He's an artist as well, but like people commission him and then like pay him a lot of money. Not to demean what you're doing, but like, I realized that came across insulting. I didn't mean that way.
No, go on.
I hope you didn't take it that way. It's abstract art anyway, but he has a lot of very, like, he's getting married, and like he's like, oh yeah, and so like I designed her wedding dress, and like, I'm like, what? You designed her dress? Like, he just drops that like it's nothing, and I'm like, anyway. He runs a creative strategy company, and I sat down with him to like just I wanted to like get him to look over my pricing model and like just give me feedback and all that, and he offered it, and I was very gracious of him, and he came up with a fantastic slogan for it, and I think he kind of did it inadvertently, and I was like, oh, that's good. So Kind Wealth is the name of the company, right?
Yep.
And it's like basically the tagline, like he was just sort of saying it as like, what are you all about? And he's like, money doesn't have to be mean. Kind Wealth. And I like that a lot.
Well, that's good.
Money doesn't have to be mean, and so like, yeah. Anyway, I like that. I think it's a good little slogan.
That is good. That's a real good slogan. Are you using that?
Yeah, like I think on the website, what I imagine is like that will be the big banner, like not banner, but big writing. Money doesn't have to be mean. I was thinking about something like what will be your impact, or I don't know. It was kind of lame. I was struggling a lot with that, but I like that. Like, it's like, oh, what does that mean? Money doesn't have to be mean. It's enough to make you like draw you in, I think, to want to learn more.
Definitely.
You like that? I loved it.
I love it. Yeah, that's awesome.
So he gave me mine too.
Well, there you go. I guess that's how it works.
Yeah. I feel really bad the way that I phrased that about his art. I
was super, super offended by it. I will not.
Man, I do. I feel bad. Like that was because you're just as much as an artist. Really, I do believe. I like the words I said don't reflect how I actually feel. Anyway,
I don't even just stop.
Okay, well I will, but I wanted to make sure
register on me. I don't even actually think anything that you said was mean at all.
Well, I feel anyway. I didn't mean it that way, but as I heard back what I said, as it was leaving my mouth, I was like, "Oh, wait, that could be interpreted very wrong."
I don't
Anyway,
know. Maybe it offends.
there was no. Anyway, that's not. It's done. But yeah.
All right, buddy.
So
Well,
nice
we'll
chat.
chat next week. We'll find out how your day went.
I might be a new dad. Like it's for the second time by then.
Yeah, you really might be. I hope so. Should we be hoping now? Is that where we're at? Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope so.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
All
Good luck
buddy.
with everything, and let's catch up again next week.
All right. Talk to you later.
Peace.
Okay. Do you want to record the opening now?
Yeah.
Should we do an opening that's like, hey, this is what we're going to talk about?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, right. So I think take a second and like, do you want to like? I think only one of us really needs just like in this episode we're going to talk about this, this, and this.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be. That requires some thought and planning, probably.
Well, what did we talk about? We talked about business cards. We talked about
hiring a bookkeeper.
Yeah. Hiring administrative assistants and bookkeepers. Right. To extend your capacity.
Yeah.
We talked about my preparations for the North Park Festival of the Arts.
And I would even say like about the discussing Snapchat filters. Like the only thing I worry a little bit about is they're going to get, if they're excited about that and then they get to that point and we didn't really give much meat or like anything tangible for them to take away, I might be a bit disappointed.
That's okay. Business card design.
The imposter syndrome.
Oh.
That was good stuff.
Yeah.
And I liked
juggling your side hustle with work.
Mm-hmm.
It's deep thoughts on perspective.
Yeah, that was a great part of the podcast.
And preparing. So we dove right into business card design, touched a little bit on Dave just starting his new job and trying to overcome the imposter syndrome. Combining that with like how to juggle your side hustle with, your day job and your work. Nick had some deep thoughts on perspective as he's getting older. And then we finished off with chat talking about preparations for the North Park Festival of the Arts and Snapchat filters and printing things.
Awesome. That's great. That's perfect.
Yeah. Okay. I'll do this one take.
Is there anything funny that you could tie in there? Like we talked about, I don't know, like, did we have any funny moment?
Well, you insulted me.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. So like I might like maybe make a joke about that. And Dave mortally offends Nick about his art. Or I don't know how to phrase that, but like you could find a way to make that. You're funnier than me.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay.
Hey everybody, Nick and Dave here for episode number 5. Today we dive right into some business card design. Then David discusses his first week at his new job where he's battling a little bit with the imposter syndrome. We both kind of trade thoughts on juggling our side hustle with our day jobs and work. I actually had some pretty deep thoughts on perspective as I'm getting older and how I see where we are today. Dave jumped into something. He offended me. We'll just say Dave offends me towards the end. And then we close out with some detailed thoughts on I'm preparing for the North Park Festival of the Arts and all the preparation that goes into something like that. So stay tuned. It was a pretty fun one. I think we're getting better at this. And now, what are you doing? With Dave O'Leary and Nick Nutso.
Podcast. It's my favorite intro ever to a podcast. It's amazing. And you know what? You've secured yourself like a permanent place on this podcast because I can't redo what you do. I couldn't do this without you.
one day when there's new hosts taking over, when this is in year 20 and we've cycled out like Simon and Paula, they'll still have to use that opening intro.
Right, exactly.
They'll always have you and podcast.
Awesome, man. That's a lot of fun.
All right, buddy. Well, good luck. Hope that baby
Thanks, man.
comes.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Peace out.